Welcome, people of Earth, to the first episode of Ren Trek. I'm your host, Jimmy the Saint, and this is a show dedicated entirely to Star Trek, past, present, and future. In this episode, as you know, we will be delving straight into the return of Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek Picard, Season 2, Episode 1. This will be my review and my breakdown. And warning, if you have not seen the episode already, spoilers ahead. So, go watch the episode, come back, then watch my review and breakdown. Overall, just to start off, I'd like to say that I thought this was a hell of a lot better opening than Season 1. It was exciting. We had elements of Star Trek in it, i.e. people in uniforms, starships, a battle. It was a lot more, I think, what people wanted to see than what we got in Season 1. And for that reason, I am definitely saying that this show is probably the best part of Star Trek, best piece of Star Trek I've seen in years, just this episode. Now, there's some clanging script in there as well, and, a few things crowbarred in. But as far as something enjoyable to watch, which was Star Trek, this was my favourite in a long, long time. We'll break down the episode, and as we go through it, we'll mention little highlights as we go. But first of all, we started with a crew on a starship, an unknown crew. They are in uniform, which is lovely to see because that is not something we always see in Star Trek these days. There are a couple of humans, there is a Vulcan, and they are under attack. The lights are flashing red. It's red alert, of course. The Vulcan has green blood running from his head. They run down corridors. They are in the turbo lift. It's shaking, and they find themselves on the bridge. The bridge is under attack. We see Jean-Luc Picard, Captain Picard, as he's known to some people, or Admiral Picard, as he is here. He is on the floor. Phasers are going off left, right, and centre, and we see a big, fat Borg tube smashing into the console desk of the bridge of this starship. And it's a nice big fat tube, bigger than we've ever seen before. And you know what they say when it comes to Borg tubes, the bigger the better. After this, we get a glimpse of Agnes. She is back. She is in a sort of, it looks like a science officer's uniform. And then we see some dark, shadowy figure surrounded by green energy, which is obviously a massive nod to this being a Borg, or member of the Borg collective. And we see that there is phasers shooting off this Borg entity. We then see 7 of 9. We see Captain Rios in a full captain's uniform, which is lovely to see. And Admiral Picard has to activate the self-destruct of this ship. And we're going, what's happening? What's going on? It's a good start. And as the counter for the self-destruct is ticking down, 5, 4, 3, it gets to 3, this Borg entity says, Picard. And it is spoken in the voice, or sounds like the voice, of the Borg Queen. And he stares at this Borg, and it goes, the self-destruct goes 2, and then we fade to white. New opening credits, which is nice. It's nice when they mix things up. Same music, but a lot of Easter eggs within these credits, like the first season. A whole show on its own, just breaking down what's in there and gives you a good idea of the story of what's going to come. Once the credits are done, they do the old TV trope of cutting to something peaceful. It is Chateau Picard, and it comes up saying 48 hours earlier. So the old classic of, I wonder how we get to where we're going. And we see Jean-Luc Picard on his chateau. It's the end of harvest season, and I think what we see is grapes off of the vines being transported off the Vines. I presume into vats where people are stamping on them to get that lovely, lovely wine juice out. What's nice is Jean-Luc Picard looks happy. He's smiling. And in season 1, we didn't get that a lot. We got a bit of a frail old man, a bit grumpy and a bit or acting like a prat. So this was nice to see. It was nice to see him happy. We see Laris again, his Romulan maid. Picard looks over at the Romulan maid and has a little bit of a smile. And as he turns away, she looks at him in a sort of a way that suggests, oh, is something going to happen here? Do we want this to happen here? I don't know. Let's carry on. Then we go to a scene between Picard and Laris, the Romulan maid, and they're having a drink together, and he's saying how happy he is because it's the end of harvest season. That's his happiest time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year at Chateau Picard. And Laris and him are having a chat. She quickly drops that her husband, who we saw in season 1, the other Romulan who was sort of bodyguard / butler to Jean-Luc, is dead. She says Romulans love better than humans. We fall in love and then we love even more, or some junk. But then she starts to put the moves on Jean-Luc, and it's quite clear that they like the look of each other. And she's asking him why he goes off into space and why he's single and is he running away from something. And they start to get close to kiss. And this is a man who I think is 100 in Star Trek now. And this is a very attractive actress who in real life is 60. But Romulans do live longer than humans. So in this, she's probably over 100, to be honest. And they're about to kiss. And then Picard stops and pulls away and says, I better go. This wine's not going to drink itself. I better put my dog to bed. And he breaks off and he misses the chance of having a snog. And to be honest, I don't know how much I wanted to see that kiss anyway. Did anyone want to see that kiss out there? Let me know in the comments. We then have a flashback to a young boy Picard wearing a lovely flat cap running down the hallways of Chateau Picard, and he runs into a big conservatory where his mum meets him. We meet his mother. She's called Yvette Picard, and they have a nice little conversation until she mentions how, it will be good here. It will be a new start for them there. And father can be outside with brother going, doing the gardening, getting their hands dirty, and him and her can play inside. And it will be good. And then Jean-Luc says, will you fight less here? And we see some very disturbing flashbacks of Jean-Luc's mother and father. Appearing to be involved in some sort of domestic abuse between the two of them, and it was a little bit jarring, to be honest. Something we've never heard about before. But hey, why would Jean-Luc have spoken about it before? But I guess they're trying to give some sort of reason why he hasn't got a significant other. He has been damaged by what he saw with his parents. She then says, yeah, we'll be all right. Don't worry about it, Jean-Luc. And she says, look up at the stars. Look up. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, mate. And then they look up at the stars. Then we go to Starfleet Academy. And I think Starfleet Academy looks nice. You've got the Golden Gate Bridge there still. It's obviously still in San Francisco. And we see Jean-Luc Picard, or Admiral Picard, doing a speech to the cadets. And again, I think this is what or certainly what I wanted in season 1. I wanted to see him at Starfleet getting the respect he deserved. Season 1 really made him out to be very much like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. This recluse who tried his best and something went wrong. And it just didn't seem like Picard. Whereas here we've got Admiral Picard doing a speech for the cadets. It's not his best speech ever. He drops a lot of Easter eggs to. He says, you can go boldly into space instead of to boldly go, correcting the grammar on that. But it was still a nice speech, and it's where we want to see Admiral Picard. He also points out Elnor, his Romulan friend from season 1, who is the first fully Romulan cadet in Starfleet. I don't know if that's 100% true. I imagine in some of the books there may be something different, but correct me in the comments if you want. But I think he is the first Romulan cadet, certainly in live action. And everyone gives him a round of applause for being the first Romulan cadet. We then go to 7 of 9, or 7 as she likes to be called, it appears to be she's in the cargo hold of Captain Rios's ship from season 1, and she's being hunted by some pirates, unknown origins to me. And she shouts out, if you're trying to steal these medical supplies, you know, you're not going to get them, blah, blah, blah. There is a hologram of Rios running about, because as you know, he had a few holograms in season 1. And he's helping distract these pirates. And the 7 of 9 takes these pirates out with very little difficulty. And she mentions how they melded all of the holograms into... I use the word holograms, EMHs, obviously, in Star Trek. All of the... No, EMH is emergency medical hologram, isn't it? So they are holograms, yeah. So they've merged all these holograms into one. And they've now got these shared personalities, I guess. Why they've merged all these holograms into one, I don't know. Potentially... Captain Rios didn't want to be playing multiple roles in this season again. Probably a bit of hassle. Probably not really worth it, especially now there was a bit of a crew on the ship. Then 7 and the hologram go onto the bridge, and we hear about this anomaly. There is an anomaly, and it is busting out Hawking radiation. Hawking radiation, as I'm sure you all know, is radiation which is thermal radiation that is theorized to be released outside a black hole's event horizon because of relativistic quantum effects, as you know. So a little bit of real science in there. Obviously Hawking radiation, named after the late great Stephen Hawking. But still, we learn about this anomaly. What's going on? This is our thing. This is our inciting incident that's about to change the course of things. We then cut to Agnes and Soji on a planet with some aliens. Soji is clearly some sort of ambassador now, and straight away she drops the bomb that simps are no longer banned in the Federation. So again, getting rid of everything they did in season 1 with simps. It's fine now, don't worry about it. And she's talking to this race of aliens, having a bit of dinner and a bit of a drink. And Agnes is at the bar having too many drinks. Don't know why. I mean, she's obviously still suffering where she killed her lover in season 1, Bruce Maddox, for no good reason, really. And one of the aliens comes up to try and chat her up. He's like, hey, how you doing? And she says, you don't want to get involved with me. I tried to kill my last bloke, and well, she doesn't say I tried to kill my last bloke. What she says is, I have been cleared of murdering my ex on the grounds that I had alien psychic brainwashing or something like that. So straight away, boom, they've cleared that up as well. Forget that from season 1. All is good. Don't worry about it. The creators here and writers are clearly listening to the complaints of season 1 here, because again, just this is another thing that they just say, yeah, sweep that all under the carpet, blah blah blah, it's all done now, next story, don't worry about it. We then cut to the Stargazer, which, as you know, was Picard's first command. It's not the same ship that Picard was on, but it carries the name, and they've added an extra digit in the NC number underneath the name Stargazer. Rios is the captain now. He still carries his trademark cigar, but it's unlit because, again, in the future people aren't really supposed to smoke in Star Trek, but still, on the bridge of a starship, you are not going to be smoking a cigar. But he holds it, and it's obviously a bit of a crutch for him that he has to hold. He holds his lighter in his other hand as well, but never the twain shall meet. Then they hear about that there's this anomaly. They hear about this anomaly as well. Just setting up the players in the places where they're going to be, right? Then we then see Picard chatting to Elnor, his Romulan friend, the first Romulan cadet, and he gives him a book written by Spock, and he uses the name Spock. He just says this is written by Spock. It was quite weird to hear him say that, because he was always Ambassador Spock, you know, in Star Trek Next Generation, and even in the latest Kurtzman, the Kelvin Line films, with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto, you've still got Ambassador Spock. So that was kind of weird. He just called him Spock like Kirk used to call him Spock. But nevertheless, he gives Elnor a book written by Spock and basically says, Spock wrote this, and it's about trying to, you just need to have a laugh and chill out. So whatever, crack on. We then see Raffi again. She's back in uniform. And again, really sweeping under the rug the fact that she was a drug-addicted dropout in a trailer in season 1. She's now back in Starfleet, and away she goes. I mean, they did a good thing in season 1, but I don't know why they're all suddenly in Starfleet. But it's fine. It's fine, because this is probably where they should have been in the first place. So that's fine. She's going off to go on her ship. She's commander on the ship, and she'll be on the same ship as Elnor. We then go back to the Stargazer, and we see the Stargazer meet up with 7 of 9 on Rios' ship, and it flies by, and Captain Rios says, "What have you done to my ship?" And she's like, "It looks better with some dents." They're like, blah blah, whatever. And they go, "You seen this anomaly?" They go, "Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? Look how green and ziggy-zaggy and much like the Borg it looks like." But no one mentions the Borg. We don't talk about the Borg yet. But what does happen is they start to get a signal through this anomaly, and they're trying to break it down. There's a new Bajoran on the bridge of the Stargazer, and she's trying to work out what this signal says. She can't work it out. Agnes rocks up. She's left Soji on the planet with the aliens, so I guess maybe she's out of this start of this beginning part of the series. And Agnes goes, "Get out of the way, I'm drunk, I'll take care of this." And she deciphers the communication that's coming through the anomaly, and it says, "Picard, help us." And they're like, "Ooh, Picard, help us." We get weird. We then see Picard, and he is outside a dive bar by the looks of it, and he goes into the bar, and the bartender is what we've all been waiting for, is the return of Whoopi Goldberg's Guinan. And I do like Guinan. I think she's an interesting character. Lots of backstory with Guinan we haven't explored in the Star Trek on-screen universe, so there's a lot of story there. And Guinan looks quite a bit older, because Whoopi is obviously older, and she's packed on a couple of pounds as well. It's fine. She still looks great. It's Whoopi Goldberg. But she does, you know, they have a hug, and then she says, "Oh, you're 100 years old. You're a century year old. I'm a couple of centuries years old." And they quickly get away with the fact of why she looks older. They get down to that straight away, and she says, "Yeah, my people, we can choose to age if we want. And it makes humans feel more comfortable if we age ourselves up. So I've aged myself up a bit." I wouldn't have. Don't know why she did. But they had to for the sake of her looking older. She then says, "Why are you here?" And he goes, "Issues." And she's like, "I've seen that look before. Come on, we're going to need some booze." He gives her a bottle of Chateau Picard wine, and she gets a bottle of booze from behind the bar, or hooch as she calls it, and they go and sit down. And to cut a long story short, he is there for sex tips. He is there because he hasn't got a bird, and it's really weird. And it's 100-year-old man asking for relationship advice from a woman who we know has had husbands. We know she's got lots of children from previous episodes. They've been mentioned. But it's very weird why he needs this relationship advice. And it's like the nerd in a American high school asking the cool older kid how to pull. It's very bizarre. She basically says, "Yeah, you'll be all right. Don't worry, don't worry about it." He's like, "Yeah, all right. I'll keep trying at the ripe old age of 100." And then he goes home, and Admiral is at his house, and she shows him the communication, the what's come through the anomaly. This "Help us, Picard." Lots of voices. "Help us, Picard." And she said the rest of the message was basically the "Can we join the Federation?" Documentation. That was the rest of it. So it's a unknown alien species that can open up anomalies. They want to join the Federation. So she goes, "You need to go there immediately." So he jumps in a shuttle and off he goes. Laris goes to say goodbye, but she misses him and he's gone. And then he's on the Stargazer and he is met by Seven aboard the Stargazer. And he's like, "Oh, nice to see you." And she's like, "Nice to see you." And he's like, "Oh, this brings back memories," or whatever. And it's not his ship. Like, it's not the Stargazer, but he's just happy to be on a ship called the Stargazer. They go on to the bridge, and now we've got everyone there who is clearly important for this piece. We have Picard, we have Seven, we have Captain Rios, we have Agnes, and then the rest of the bridge crew. Then the anomaly. Something starts to come out of the anomaly, and everyone knows what it's going to be apart from the people on the bridge. And it's a new Borg ship. It's shaped like a star, Borg star, I guess they're going to call it probably. And Picard looks at Seven and she's like, "Yeah, that's a Borg ship." It's like, "Yeah, we know, of course it's a Borg ship." And they say, "We're going to send over an ambassador." You go, "We don't want an ambassador." Suddenly, loads of other starships turn up for backing. They go, "We need backup." They all turn up. This was nice. Again, listening to the fans from last season, one of the complaints was when all the starships turn up in the final battle, it was literally the same ship, copied and pasted, copied and pasted. And what was exciting in Star Trek previously, DS9 and this type of thing, when they had big battles, was seeing all the other ships turn up, all the different styles. And they did this here. So again, I think they're listening. As I say, the script wasn't amazing, but they're listening to the fans at least. So all these different ships turn up, which is lovely to see. And then they say, "We're sending over our ambassador. She's coming." They're like, "Shields up, everyone, shields up, red alert." Then we see the Borg transporter beam blasting through the shields of the Stargazer, which was a little bit weird, but still, it did. And there is a Borg entity on this ship on the bridge, and we see these big, I think it says like, "We need power," something like that. "We need power." And these big Borg tubes come out of her back, or its back, and goes into the consoles on the bridge. And obviously, this is where we started. "We need power." That's what it says. And then big shootout. Nice. Captain Rios uses the word phasers instead of guns, which he used last season. Again, something they're correcting. And then the crew that we saw at the start come running on. Everyone's shooting at the Borg entity on the bridge, and it's sucking up their phaser fire and then blasting it back at them. Seven notes that it's stunning them. It's not killing them, it's stunning them. It's stunning the crew members. And then they go, "We've got to self-destruct." Admiral Jean-Luc Picard, he initiates the self-destruct. A bit weird that an admiral can just walk onto someone else's ship and initiate the self-destruct. Always in the past on Star Trek, it's taken two people, the captain and the first officer. Sometimes the doctor as well. But he initiates it, starts ticking down, and we're back to where we are at the beginning. Then the Borg entity says, "Picard, and he looks at it, and it's the Borg Queen's voice, and it says, "Look up." And this is what his mother used to say to him. Big revelation. Picard looks at this Borg entity. It's got an armor on, you know, as you can see in the pictures here. We don't know what is under there, but it's obviously a Borg Queen. Is this Captain Jean-Luc or Admiral Jean-Luc Picard's mother? Or have they just got the knowledge that that's what his mum used to say to him from when they assimilated him back in the Best of Both Worlds in Next Generation? They've got all of Locutus of Borg's memories still. Or is it his mother? Who knows? And then the count 6 down, as it did at the start. 2, fade to white. Admiral Picard wakes up back in his conservatory on Chateau Picard. And he gets up and he dusts himself off, and he's wearing a different uniform. And he's got a different badge. He's like, where the hell am I? And he's shouting for Laris, his Romulan bit who he's after. And a synthetic life form comes down, who we did see in season 1. And he's like, who are you looking for? And he's like, where's Laris? Who are you? He's like, I'm your man. I'm your butler. I'm your synthetic life form. And they have a little chat. And then he sees a painting of himself looking very militaristic in this black uniform. He's like, what the hell's going on? And then we hear Mon Capitan. We hear the voice, the unmistakable voice of John Delancey. Coming back as Q, which is lovely because he is one of my favourite characters of all time, John Delancey as Q. He's fantastic. He's such a good actor. He was brilliant in Next Generation. He was brilliant in Breaking Bad. Wonderful. And we see him, and it is the young Q. Obviously CGI to look young, but it's a good CGI. I don't know if it was deep fake or just CGI or mix of both, but it looks bloody good. Quickly, he goes, you're much older than I thought you'd be. Let me catch up. Clicks his finger. Boom. He's the age of John Delancey, the actor now. He goes, there, now we're even. And he goes up to him and says, do you remember what I said to you when we last met? The trial never ends, is what he said to him. And then he says, we're at the end of the road not yet taken, something like this, and it's clear they're in some sort of a alternate universe. Credits. Whew, that is the entire episode wrapped up there. Lots of things in there, lots of good things. I think that you could watch this episode without watching season 1. If you've heard bad things about season 1 or checked out of it, you could laugh season 1 off. Season 2 just cracks on with its new story. Everyone is probably, as I say, where they should have been at the beginning of season 1, and we've got a whole new story to follow. So I recommend this. I've got high hopes. As I say, some of the script was a little bit clunky, but at least Picard is being a bit more Picard. We got less Raffi and Elnor, who for my money were the most annoying characters. 7, hey, she was just doing her action hero bit. That's fine. We've got Captain Rios back, who's great. Agnes is, okay. And we've got Laris back as well. So it was nice. They're crowbarring stuff in. They've gone, what do people like? The Borg. They like the Borg. Let's get the Borg in. They love Q. Let's get Q in. Picard, obviously, they want, and they seem to be trying to cram all the stuff in, but hey, I'm fine with that. It's very much like the Book of Boba Fett, someone playing with their toys and having all the figures and getting them all together. But I'm fine with that. I'm hopeful of where this could go, and it was a lot of fun. I think a lot of fun, and I'd highly recommend it. So that's season 2, episode 1 of Star Trek Picard. My review and breakdown. I'm going to give it 4 stiffies, I think, in Renaissance Men tradition. 4 stiffies out of 5. get involved, watch the first episode, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and join me next week for episode 2 review and breakdown. And let's boldly go into this adventure of this new show together. Thanks very much for listening. I'll see you next week.